Hey guys, Scallywag checking in for the first official Bonsai devlog. So, a few weeks ago I had an idea. I think I was sleeping at the time and there were hot tubs and the Swedish bikini. Wait, no, back up, different idea. The idea that I had was to build a sort of procedural noise brush system. And what I mean by that is I wanted a way of authoring noise functions in a more intuitive way than just like typing random numbers into my editor and like hoping they looked good when they popped out in the game. Basically, I wanted to stop doing this and start doing this. So, how did I go from A to B? I started out very simply by just filling a rectangle with purlin noise. I already had the facilities for generating purlin noise and selecting a region, and so welding those two together was pretty easy. I then went on to do shapes. I did a sphere and a rectangle because a rectangle, let's face it, is just the selection region, and a sphere I already had an almost working implementation for. What's a devlog without a few bugs, right? Once I'd crushed out the bugs and had things mostly working, it was time to both move on to the UI and sort of clean up some of the internal systems that I'd hacked on to get things just on the screen. This was one of the more complicated pieces of custom UI I've done in the engine so far, and so it took a few tries. I experimented with a few different panels. I first started with having the UI just welded into the World Edit panel. That turned out to take up too much space, so then I split it out to a separate settings panel and a preview window. And now that the preview draws into the world, the preview window is kind of unnecessary, so I'll probably take that out. One of the really nice changes that I did while I was cleaning everything up was to take the functions that generate the noise from about 10 parameters to 4. There are like 20 or 30 of these functions, so it was really nice to sort of get the parameter count under control and smooth out the API surface a bit. The other nice thing I did was to sort of streamline the serialization process in the engine, and it's worked out pretty good so far. The general idea behind the serializer is that I actually wrote a metaprogramming language to help with this kind of thing. And so the metaprogram picks out all the things that are serializable from a type, and then it generates all the serialization and deserialization code. The problem with this is that you can only ever read the type back in as you saved it out. And so if your data type changes, if the struct definition changes, then your deserializer will unfortunately break. The solution to this that I came up with is to save out the type data as well. So you just save out the names of the members and their offsets and what type they were, and then read that back in at load time and use that to sort of reconstruct the type. That whole system probably deserves a video of its own, so I won't go into more detail than that, but if you want to know more about it, feel free to stop by the Discord and say hi. So that pretty much brings us to now. There's still a little bit of jank in it, and I'm going to continue to polish it and smooth out the rough edges in the weeks to come. But for now, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. There's an alpha release out now, so if you wanted to try it out, you can go to the GitHub and download the pre-built binaries, or compile from source if that's your thing. There are also a few example brushes that ship with the engine, so you should just be able to import those and goof around with them. That's all from me for now. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.